Okay, so today I am going to read chapter 7 of The Liberation of Gabriel King. And the thing that happened yesterday was, or the last time you listened, was that Gabriel and Frida went to the post office, and we found out that Gabe did finish 4th grade and is moving up, but he doesn't want to. And Frida says, you need to stop being chicken. So we're going to find out what she has in planned. Frida's plan, chapter 7. When Frida says she's going to come up with a plan, you better watch out, because it is by God going to happen. The very next day, she called me on the phone to say she had come up with an idea. So I rode my bike over to her house, even though it was pouring down rain. Got there in 10 minutes flat, but I was still soaked. Frida met me in the driveway, and I could tell she was excited. Her eyes were sparkling like water in a puddle after the sun comes out. So the author, does a good job of painting a picture with words. Excuse me. Here's what you're going to do, she said as soon as she dried off and we were in her room with the door shut. First, you're going to make a list. Write down everything you're afraid of. She narrowed her eyes until they were teeny tiny slivers. And you better be honest or it won't work. I've got to write down everything? Frida nodded. She handed me paper and a pencil and waited for me to write. Then what will we do? I asked, suspicious. Frida grinned. Then we'll cross them off one by one, saving Duke Evans in the 5th grade for last when you're the most brave. I about choked. That was the plan? Nuh-uh, I said, leaving that paper in a heap. But Frida, but Frida gave me a look that could have been withered okra on a stalk. You pinky, swore she, reminded me. Drat. I picked up the pencil and made a column of numbers down the one side of the paper. I wrote 5th grade to the number 1, even though we were going to save it till last. Then I wrote down Duke Evans, Frankie Carmen, spiders, and alligators next to numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5. You done? Frida asked after a while. Nope, I said. Frida jumped on the bed. She was wearing a bright orange jumpsuit with flared ankles, and every time she jumped, the flares puffed around her legs. Done yet? I wasn't. I was on only number 18. Maybe I'd be able to finish if you'd let me concentrate. Frida was quiet for a long time. She did handstands against the wall and watched me upside down. I started a second column down the other side of the paper. Now are you done? She finally asked. Truth was, there were maybe just a few more things I could have written down, but I said yes, just so she would stop asking. Okay, said Frida, sliding against the wall. She crumpled in an upside-down heap of gangly legs and elbowy arms. What's your first thing on your list? You mean aside from Duke and Frankie in the 5th grade? Frida nodded. Spiders, I said slowly. Big ones, small ones, hairy, fanged ones. I've never met a decent spider. Okay, said Frida. We'll start with that. What are we going to do? I asked, but Frida didn't answer. She took her raincoat out of her closet and put on her yellow galoshes. Those are boots. You'll see, she said. This is the best plan ever. Then she stopped. Better get the jars and flashlight out of the basement, she muttered. I stopped dead in my tracks. Frida's basement was number 8 on my list, and she didn't even know it. I'll wait up here, I said, but Frida grabbed my arm. We're just going to go down for a minute, she told me. Then she walked out of her room and down the hall, dragging me with her. There was a light at the top of the basement stairs, but it was too high for even Frida to reach, so we crept down the steps real slow. They creaked under our weight, and Frida feet made loud squishing sounds in her galoshes. I listened just in case Terrence was down here waiting for someone to pound on, because remember the one time they saw him pounding on his punching bag? But there wasn't a sound. Then I listened in case he was upstairs waiting to sneak up on us like he'd done the one time we were checking out his punching bags. But I didn't hear anything from that direction either. My heart was beating super fast. Ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump. So the author just used onomatopoeias. It was dank and musty in the Wilsons' basement, and everywhere I turned there were posters that said Malcolm X on them and drawings of panther heads staring at me from the darkness. I turned in full circles, staring at the walls, wondering why Terrence hung out down here. Mrs. Williams said a boy his age needed privacy, but I didn't see what was so private about punching things. I followed Frida away from the stairs over a box that was sitting on the floor. She dug around the flashlights while I stood next to the little punching bag, breathing in smell of sweat. My eyes started to adjust, and I studied the canvas real hard. That's when I saw it. Even in the darkness, there was blood on the corner. I stepped back real quick, my heart beating twice as fast, and backed right into Frida, who was putting new batteries into the flashlight. "What's wrong?" she asked, and I could hardly breathe. "Let's get out of here," I whispered. "Why?" Frida said, taking 2 jars and turning the flashlight. "We're just getting the stuff I need. Isn't any reason why we shouldn't." That's when Frida's flashlight went out. Boom! I screamed, and then I saw him. Terrence was standing right behind Frida, one hand over the front of her flashlight. I didn't wait around. I took off so fast I could have gotten a gold medal. There was a space the width of one small person between Terrence and the wall, and I squeezed right through it and bolted up the stairs. "Where are you going, twerp?" Terrence called out after me, but I was already gone. I hadn't even put on my raincoat on, but I stood outside and got drenched, waiting for Frida.